Good morning, this is Allison.
Allison, this is Gary Thompson.
Hi, Gary.
Howdy. I made a deputation to the Board of Health just before you last week.
Yes.
Yes, and I'm wondering, do you have your first aid and CPR training?
I think my first aid is out of date. Why?
Well, because they've taught millions of people all the signs of respiratory emergency and then give chest compressions to a beating heart.
Yes.
Well, that's totally wrong. There's nothing wrong if it's a breathing emergency, right?
I don't understand, Gary.
You don't understand. A breathing emergency. Say,
I don't understand what this has to do with my...
Well, it's violence. You know the Danforth shooter down here in Toronto?
Yes.
That we had? Well, his brother is left in a permanent coma because someone didn't give him rescue breathing. Yes, so I'm wondering if that set the person off. I was the 20th person to take this training when it became available in September 2011. And I told the staff, someone is going to kill their child and be so distraught, they're going to come in here with a gun and shoot all your staff, and the judge is going to let them go, because the judge would say, I would have done the same thing. Do you know, up in Peterborough, I was at a conference in Peterborough, July 11th, with the mayor of both Swillen and Peterborough. The police were there, EMS, the medical officer of health, Dr. Rosanna Salvatore. The mayor of Swillen says our fire department and EMS doesn't kill people like they do in Peterborough, because Peterborough teaches chest compressions. When I went to the sign-in table, all the signs of respiratory emergency, and then start pounding on a beating heart. The chief of inspector of the police department, John Lyons, there, I was handing out all the proper instructions. And before the soiree where we all meet and talk to each other, John Lyons comes up to me. He says, Gary, I want to shake your hand. Now get in my cruiser. I'm driving you out of town. I says, John, you're a police officer. You have your first aid and know it's wrong. I know of parents that have killed their own child and then committed suicide afterwards.
So, Gary, I don't understand why you're telling me this.
Why I'm telling this? Well, I'm trying to save your life as well, man, because you could have an injury or illness that puts you comatose, and people are eagerly going to start pounding on your beating heart. You're paying for this. Your tax dollars paying for this right now. Hundreds of millions of dollars, because there's so many left with permanent brain damage needing 24/7 nursing. And then there's going to be $1 billion no-brainer class action suit suing the government, and you pay for that again. And what the agenda is to make a United States-style healthcare system in this country. The executive director at Health Canada got canned in January for blowing the...
Gary, you understand what my role is, right? Like, I work for...
I heard your
the
deputation.
Board of directors
I heard your...
of the...
I heard your deputation,
So I work for the industry, manufacturers, distributors, wholesalers. I'm not exactly sure what you're asking of me. I mean, other than informing me personally, which I appreciate.
That's right. That's what the intention is, man. To save lives.
For me personally. Okay.
Well, and then you might want to spread the word, right?
Okay. Is there a new first aid course being taught?
No, it's always been the same. Well, it's chest compressions only. The Heart and Stroke Foundation sent them a letter back in 2013 and said, stop murdering everyone. I'm published.
Who a letter?
The doctor that wrote the medical directive, Dr. Laurie Morrison, and Toronto Public Health.
Okay. So your current initiative is to educate the public that the current first aid curriculum is incorrect.
The curriculum is correct if you take it from St. John Ambulance, the Red Cross, any certified first aid trainer. The only people that are doing it is your government. Your government.
What government?
The provincial and different health districts in the province. Your Kawartha Lakes Health District teaches it, chest compressions.
Okay,
and it's supposed to be.
As a member of the public, if you take your first aid and CPR from Red Cross.
Yeah, it's rescue breathing only.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
so if I were to let store owners know that they need to get, business owners know that they need to get their first aid updated through.
Well, certified trainer, yeah.
Through a certified Red Cross trainer.
Yeah, St. John's Ambulance is actually better.
St. John's,
yeah, because they're better. Yeah, they're better because their trainers are. They take a more rigorous course than the Red Cross.
I'd be happy to put that note out. I think it's a great advisory to business owners to make sure that they're given the changes to the content of the first aid course, that they and their staff get their first aid updated accordingly.
Well, no, see, ma'am, it's never changed. The only people that have changed it is your government. They're teaching laypersons. And the pharmacists are handing out this information. This naloxone, the antidote.
Yeah.
Pharmacists are handing out the wrong information, and every pharmacist knows it's wrong. Because first class in pharmacy school is what to do for a poisoning or a drug overdose. It's give them air ASAP. You're not allowed in a laboratory not knowing that, because there's hundreds of causes of poisoning. Any drug overdose is a respiratory emergency. Yet the pharmacists are handing out the government information.
Gary, I appreciate that. It is a valid and awesome initiative and a fight that you're taking on. I have a big enough one of with our own industry, but I appreciate the information and I appreciate the work you're doing.
Yeah.
I'm just not sure beyond, informing our business owners to get their first aid updated by a credible provider, given the changes, or if their training is outdated. That's all I can do.
The changes from CPR, it's been known about. It's in the Old and New Testament about rescue breathing.
Okay, I can't go with you down that rabbit hole, Gary, because it's beyond my mandate.
Yeah, no. I'm not suggesting that your association, put out a newsletter, be a news info blast or whatever, but it'd be nice.
It's beyond our scope of expertise to be advising people on health issues.
Yeah, I know. But you might want to make your friends away. It's not your company policy, but it's a personal thing you can go around telling people, right?
I'm going to absolutely look into I know St. John's teaches. I'm actually in Peterborough, so I know St. John's teaches the course here.
Yeah.
I'm overdue to get mine updated, so I will. And I did read something about the change in not doing chest compressions. I think I read a news story on that,
I know.
In the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, I know. That's Dr. Gordon Ave. Him and I are friends. It took him 20 years of research to find out that chest compressions only for a person who's never been trained, who witnesses a cardiac arrest. You have to actually witness the cardiac arrest happen, and then chest compressions only may work. That's the only instance, and that's a very, very rare occurrence, to witness a cardiac arrest and not be trained. People get trained rescue breathing in 30 seconds over the telephone by EMS dispatch. Out-of-hospital cardiac arrest is a very rare event. There's over 1 million people in Ontario taken to the hospital with a breathing emergency per year. Less than 15,000 out-of-hospital cardiac arrests, and it happens to people 40 years and older, overweight with heart disease. Yeah. So this misinformation's going on all over the place. You can look it all up on my Twitter. There's a phone conversation with the Ministry of Health admitting they're murdering everyone. At Gary CPR. A man named Gary CPR. Ministry of Health. His name's Paul. He works for the Ministry of Health. His family owned a first aid and CPR training company.
It's a huge undertaking.
Well, it shouldn't have been. It shouldn't have been. No, it shouldn't have been. When these doctors knew it was wrong right from the get-go, and they're getting doctors murdered. Well, of course, you teach millions. People are eagerly doing it. I'm going to calls, and people are giving their own children. They're giving everyone chest compressions, and I have to yank them off because they're just following. A doctor told me to do it, so I'm doing it. Right? Nice talking to you.
You got a big task re-educating all of us. That's a long entrenched belief that we have.
Well, no, it's called agnotology. It's deliberate formation of ignorance and doubt in society. They do a lot of that, right?
Oh, yeah.
Keep us stupid.
Yeah.
Keep us stupid, right? And divided.
And unarmed.
Well, I'm not afraid of anything. I took Boy Scouts and I got my work for the Lands and Forest and had my it was before PALS, so I had to have it when you work 500 miles from anywhere, right? You had to be protected.
Well, I'm going to do some research. I'm going to see what I can do that's appropriate for our mandate and our business owners, and keep an eye out. And but I appreciate the information personally, Gary.
Yeah, there's a lot of stop the bleed training going on nowadays. You know, if somebody gets shot or stabbed or something or bleeding, that just got introduced recently. There's a lot of training for that.
Well, we are getting more violent with each other, but
yeah, you know, well, this increases violence. This teaching chest compressions increases violence. Because they know it's wrong. And they make themselves physically and emotionally ill.
Well, I wish you well in your initiative, and I will do a little more research, and both for me personally and to see what is appropriate for the CSAAA in this area.
Okay. Yeah, at Gary CPR, and you got my phone number? Did it show up?
I do. I have it here on my cell phone.
Thanks a lot, and you have a great week.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson. I appreciate it. You
Yes,
too.
Alison de Groot. Bye-bye. It's a huge initiative. It's not a huge initiative. You're all being mass murdered. It's simple.